Now available in paperback and e-readers, E-Steam Essential, The Devil's Diva reaches a turning point in her life with this powerful E-Steam series story. Get E-Steam Essential at online booksellers today. I've been reading some of the comments regarding my observations of the Black Panther trailer and the Avengers Infinity War trailer, and some people would sit there and say that I don't like anything. And this is a straw man argument made by emotional people who are emotionally attached to Marvel Comics characters and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, I myself have been a comic fan for many years. However, as a comic fan, I have something called standards. And because I have standards, I want to make sure that the films that Marvel Studios produces are of the same high quality that they were back in 2008. And when I look at 2008's Iron Man, that was a film that was of incredibly high quality. This was a film that literally took the Iron Man character straight out of the comic books and translated him directly to the screen. The spirit of Tony Stark was in that film, the essence of the character was there, the mission of the character was there, and everything that was related to the character was on that screen. And when I look at Captain America the First Avenger, I also see a same high quality and high standard. Now, with Thor, the standard for the character staying true to the source material was there, but there were some little inconsistencies. And the same thing with the Incredible Hulk. The character for the overall part was there, but there were some little inconsistencies as related to those characters. And the Avengers did a very good job of bringing all these characters together, and they brought the standard bar up there as it related to superhero movies. Thanks to those four films, we saw the superhero movie brought to a high standard and a high bar for quality, and that bar stayed consistent with Captain America the First Avenger. However, with some Marvel Studios projects, I see where they have serious problems as related to keeping standards up or maintaining standards. And when I start to see standards slip, I believe that's when it needs to be called out. If I'm, as a comic fan who love these characters and love everything about them, I'm going to call out things when I see things being done wrong, like I saw with Spider Man Homecoming, which was a complete compromise of the source material and a really bad turn for Marvel Studios. Because when I look at that film, I see a lot of the mistakes that the Salkins made with Superman 3 and many of the mistakes that Joel Schumacher made with Batman and Robin, because in both of those cases, what they did was they wanted to make compromises to the source material, they wanted to make compromises to the story, and they wanted to make alterations to make the story more appealing to different audiences. Unfortunately, many people were so caught up in the whole idea of a Spider-Man movie, they weren't looking at as it related to the story of Spider-Man, the mission of Spider-Man, and giving us a quality adaptation of Spider-Man on the same level that Sam Raimi gave us back with 2002's Spider-Man. Because when I look at Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, that's Spider-Man from the comics. When I look at Spider-Man Homecoming, I don't know who that is, but that's not Spider-Man. And when I look at films like Black Panther, it's just there's some inconsistencies with the film as relates to terms of quality, and that's what I call out. I call out things like telling instead of showing. I call out things as related to a weak story, and I call those things out because, again, I care about the medium of comic books and I care about the medium of film, and I want to see a high quality film. And when I call out a film like Infinity War, again, I call that out because when you have a trailer that makes people indifferent to what they're seeing, they have no incentive to go out here and see more movies. Because when I look at Infinity War's trailer, it reminded me a lot of what I saw in Justice League's trailer. A trailer that really does not really tell a strong story. Yes, you see a lot of characters on the screen, but you never saw a reason to care about any of those characters on the screen. And one of the three rules of screenwriting are who is the main character, what do they want, and most importantly, why should we care? And I needed a reason to care. I saw some reasons to care in the Thor Ragnarok trailer. However, I didn't see them in the Infinity War trailer. So that's a real serious problem for Marvel Studios. And when I look at many Marvel fans, they approach these characters again from an emotional perspective, not thinking about the things as related to story and things related to the quality of the story. As a writer, I always look at things from the perspective of the terms of the quality of the story, the consistency as related to the characters, and maintaining a very high standard for those characters. Now, I saw high standards in Marvel's Netflix series, The Punisher. When I look at Netflix's The Punisher, that is an incredibly good series. There's a high standard on that series. The acting is top notch acting. I mean, it's the acting is on up there with some of the best acting I've seen so far in any of these Marvel Studios projects. Uh, I really see Frank Castle coming to life. I see the grittiness of his world. I see everything that's related to a Punisher comic in that series. And if they were to put that type of level of quality in some of these projects that I have critiqued more severely, like Black Panther and Avengers: Infinity War and Spider-Man: Homecoming, Iron Fist, and the Defenders, I wouldn't be calling those series out. I would be recommending those series because I don't see that high level of quality and that bar being maintained on a consistent level like I did with Netflix's The Punisher, because Netflix's The Punisher really showed me what Marvel Studios can do when it stays true to its mission and doesn't make compromises to its characters, compromises to their source material, or make alterations to the character's story. When they make a story that is straight from a Marvel comic, we see a comic book come to life, like we did with Netflix's The Punisher, Iron Man, Captain America: The First Avenger, and the other series like Avengers and Captain America: The Winter Soldier. When we see the standard maintained, we see comic books come to life. However, when we see compromises get made, we get clumsy, awkward series or a series that falls apart like the last 6 episodes of Luke Cage because they decide to go off the script, or we set something like Spider-Man: Homecoming, which just isn't Spider-Man at all, or we get something that's just so terrible like Iron Fist, it's literally unwatchable, or something so horrible like Inhumans that you can't even get through an entire episode. That's what happens when you make compromises to material and you don't have any standards. And the same standards that I call out Marvel Studios for are the same standards I impose on myself for the SJS Direct Publishing imprint, because I heard all these complaints from customers regarding hand drawn covers, and I heard complaints about the grammar situation in many of my books. And thanks to those complaints, I made efforts to elevate my craft and I made efforts to improve the quality of my products and establish a higher standard for those products. Now, these days, I make every effort to make sure that any product that comes out of the SJS Direct Publishing imprint is of a high standard, and I'm holding Marvel to the same standard I hold myself. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I believe my customers deserve the best, and they shouldn't have to settle for substandard as their standard. If my customers shouldn't have to settle for substandard as their standard from me, then they shouldn't have to settle for substandard products from Marvel Comics or Marvel Studios. The same standard that you hold me to is the same standard Marvel should be held to, because this is your money and your money has value. And if your money has value, then you should be able to get the best product possible, whether it be from SJS Direct or from Marvel Studios. And you should be able to get a product that is of the highest quality. You should be able to demand better, not just settle for it's a Black Panther movie and it's the only one with a black character in it. It shouldn't just be a movie with a black character in it. It should be a great movie with a great character in it who is black. And they should be making every effort to give you every value for your dollar, because your dollars are valuable, you work for them, and your time is precious. These companies need to be shown that you have value, and they need to show you a reason to care about their products. I go out of my way to show you why you should care about my products, and I go out of my way to make sure that my standard and my products meet a high standard for quality, and I wouldn't want people to settle for less when they can get the best. And that's what I want to give my customers with my products, and that's what I believe people should get from a Marvel Studios product. A Marvel Studios product should be the very best out here because you work hard to spend to get your money from these jobs, and these tickets cost $15-$20, so you should get $20 worth of entertainment out of that movie, just like you would get a whole $8 out of one of the books that I publish in paperback, or $4 or $5 for one of the ebooks I publish. You should be able to get your money's worth with any product that you get from either of us, and they should both meet a consistently high standard for quality. And this is something you, as the customer, should demand. And for people to sit there and say, oh, you don't like anything. No, what I don't like are substandard products, poor quality products, and low grade products being foisted on customers. Instead, what they should be doing is trying to raise their bar in the same way I make every effort to raise the bar as it relates to an SJS Direct publication, because I value my customers and I want to give them the very best. And I believe that giving them the very best is something that I should do every day, and every day that I do it, when I do it, shows that I'm making efforts to not only establish a high standard, but maintain a consistently high standard as relates to my publications, and that's the standard I want to see as it relates to these Marvel Studios movies. This isn't just about putting up characters, it's about putting up content regarding those characters that presents those characters in the best light and presents those characters in a way that shows respect for those creators and respect for the people who came in the past that created a legacy for these characters, and shows why these characters have endured for so many years. If you'd like to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to try some of my SJS Direct publications, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.